Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is ZillaFan85 back today with my latest video, another figure review. Today we're going to go ahead and look at a trio of figures, that being my Bandai Pack of Destruction Larva Mothra minifigure, and going along with that, my Larva Mothra and Larva Battra minifigure, or Gashapon figures, I should say. So, Now, as far as these figures go, now the two Larva Mothra are based on the Heisei design, from Godzilla vs. Mothra, the Battle for Earth from 1992, and of course going along with that you have the Larva Battra from the film as well. So I kind of decided to do all three of these together. I know technically I should have done the Bandai Pack of Destruction Larva Mothra with my Manda minifigure, since that was also from the Bandai Pack of Destruction, but I just kind of decided I would couple it in with these. Now these two are essentially, I believe anyway, sold as a set when you get these Gashapon figures. Some of the Gashapons are like that, and another set that comes to mind is Kamacuras and Kumanga, which I reviewed previously as well. So there's a few like that. I think the Super X and Super X2, which I had also previously reviewed, that was also a set. So some of them do come like that, as opposed to just being sold individually. But anyways, I just figured it would be good to go ahead and delve into all three of these. You know, I think they're pretty nicely done figures, so let's go ahead and jump into them now. So to start with the paint scheme, we'll start with the Bandai Pack of Destruction Larva Mothra. As you see, she's got a, you know, basically a dark brown paint scheme for the main part of her body. You know, obviously that larval worm-like form. And she's got, you can see, deep brown all around her on the underside and all that. A little bit of contrast with a almost like a black color for the jaws there, if you guys can see that. And very, very small. I know it's a little bit dusty. I've had these figures for a while, but you can vaguely see the blue dots for the eyes, if you guys can see that there. Trying the best I can to get the camera to focus, and pretty simple. Now the Larva Mothra Gashapon figure, pretty similar, but the brown on the main part of her body is much lighter than this one. You can definitely tell the difference in the shadings of brown. This is a much lighter brown, almost like a brown tannish color, if you will. I'm not sure. I think this one is a little bit more movie accurate. The Bandai Pack of Destruction figures are not too, you know, are pretty nicely done, but I still think like the Gashapon high grade figures are done a little bit better, a little more movie accurate overall. But still, though, both are nice. But this one I think is a little more movie accurate. So again, you can see the paint scheme there. Body there, and well, the mandibles here, or the jaw I should say here anyway, still done in the same color though, whereas the other one had a contrasting color with a more like either very dark brown or like a black color. But you also got the very, very light sky blue for the eyes. So as soon as the camera can pick that up, you guys can see that. And that looks pretty good. Nice little contrast there. That's about it for her. Now, looking at Battra. And so he's got a little bit more going on. So you see sort of the main part of his body is almost done in a sort of gray, like a dark gray color, which does look pretty good, I think. And then you've got almost like a yellowed out bone color for the claws that he's got, all running down him, all his many segmented legs that he's got there, essentially. Almost looks like a sort of centipede when you think about it with the Larva Battra, even though I guess he's still supposed to be kind of a worm, like the caterpillar, you know, here, Mothra, but different though for sure. And of course, that same bone color there for the end piece for the tail with those three tips there, the spike tips. So you guys can see on the other side too. All those claws there for the feet. Then it runs up those spikes there. I do apologize about the phone, folks. I do apologize about that, folks, but you got those spikes going up his neck as well into where these sort of mandibles are here. Again, all done in that same color, and then the same color on the jaw there as well. And you've got the more yellow color for the horn on the top of his head, and that streaks of yellow running down sides of his head and down his back there. That looks good. And then, of course, that middle color, that red color, some really, really nicely deep red color done on the top of his head, and again running down the middle part of his back. So I do think that looks really, really nice. And of course you got the red dots there, those patternings on the sides of his neck, which look nice, and the red for the eyes too, that deep red, giving him a very, very sinister look. So I think that looks really, really good. And then of course to the, I guess the chest area, if you will, here in that red color as well. A little bit different shading of a red, like an even deeper red, almost a purple color there. So really, really cool. So very, very nice paint, I think, especially on Larva Battra. Now for detail, so getting into it, again, we'll start with the Bandai Pack of Destruction Larva Mothra. So again, she's got the sort of mandibles on the sides, so they're the tusks, if you will, on the sides of her face. Of course, nice detailing for the mouth area there. The eyes and face here, done very well. Definitely looks good. Got all the bumps and grooves on her face there, really captured well. All the segments going down the main part of her body, and starting in the larger portion and coming down to the smaller portion all the way towards the end part, where she's got that tail, that signature Larva Mothra tail that she's got. And then of course all the those little caterpillar legs that she's got as well, etched in very nicely, I think. So I will say these Bandai Pack of Destruction figures are done pretty nicely, I have to admit that. And then there, so you can see those suction cups, which are also part of how she moves as well. So you can see that captured there in the detailing work, and got some, can't see it perfectly, but you got some of the labeling there as well. So the 2002 Toho Bandai. The Bandai Pack of Destruction, I believe, is Bandai America. So it says made in China, but this is part of the Bandai American line, though. So really, really nicely done. And of course, all those legs there at the bottom part of her face as well. Those flaps, anyways, I'm not really sure what they are, to be honest with you, as far as, you know, dissecting the anatomy of her. But it looks really nice, though. I think they captured detail very well. Now for the Gashapon Larva Mothra. Again, detailed very well. Got the face again with the bumps and grooves there. And those deep sockets for where the eyes are. All the detail work around the mouth with the tusks. And again, these sort of legs or flaps that come down here as well. I guess they're part of the legs, I'm thinking anyway. They just start at the bottom part of her face, helping her move. And again, you can see that etched in as well, the caterpillar legs going down the main part of her body on both sides there. Not as prominent as the Bandai Pack of Destruction one, I think, but still captured very well. And again, the segments going down her body there as well, very signature of Larva Mothra with that three-pronged tail tip at the end there. And captured very well. And on the bottom side here, you can see this figure was released little bit earlier on if it focuses. So, well, it's copyright 1992, but that's just per the film Godzilla vs. Mothra. So it wasn't actually released in 1992. But again, Bandai China there. And again, you can see the detailing on the bottom side of her, and you got the suction cups again. I think the detailing here, you can see more grooves and gruff texturing here. I think it's actually a little bit better done than the Bandai Pack of Destruction one. But again, looks really, really good. So that about covers it for her. And now for Battra. Again, Battra's design is definitely captured well. Got that horn, that signature horn that Larva Battra has on his head there. Looks very, very good where he fires out his beam. You got all the spikes, all the different rows of spikes that he's got, starting from the top of his head and running all the way down his body, all the way up to the tail portion there. And that tail portion is captured very well. Those two longer tips that protrude outwards, very nicely detailed. Different spikes along them, and then of course you got the smaller tip in the center. Really nice. And of course all the spiked legs that he's got going down his body. Well, let's start actually from the neck area with those spikes, and then running down to the leg portions here with the two big front ones there, and then the rest that run down the rest of his body there. Again, on both sides, you guys can see that. Really, really captured well. Got all the patternings and everything along his body as well that you guys can see there. So when you look at that, you can see they really, really did capture the look of Larva Battra very well. I think so, anyways. And you got all the detailing in the face, the eyes, and all the grooves and wrinkles and line segments that are running for the patterning on his forehead and all the way down on his face. Really, really looks good. And detailing for the jaws, and then those two tusks that protrude out from the jaws. Very, very good. Very, very signature of Larva Battra's design. And then that detail work for the chest area there, and then on the underside of him, a little more plain, but you know, I've never really seen the underside of Larva Battra in the film, so I can't really say how accurate or not this is. But you got a little bit of detailing, though, at least on the leg portions there, and that's just kind of plain with the, of course, the logoing, the copyright 1992 Bandai China. Again, there. It looks very good. Got some nice texturing here where the tail tip is. So definitely gets the job done, and I think it gets it done quite well, honestly. You know, for Gashapon figures, so, you know, which are mini figures, they do put the effort in to really capture some nice detail work. And other than that, articulation, but for all these, there really isn't anything. They're in these stationary positions. You see the Bandai Pack of Destruction Larva Mothra is in this straightened out position, which is usually how you would see Larva Mothra, and then the Gashapon one has a little bit of a curve in it, just to, I guess, give it a little more of a prominent, you know, sort of way that it's positioned here with the face semi-pointing upwards. So I guess almost in a battle-ready stance that she's in there, if you will. And Larva Battra the same, no articulation. With these two, really only there's nothing that connects in with him. You got some different parts that connect into place. You can see where they connect in, but they're not really meant to be moved. So, and again, that's the case for most Gashapon figures. I always try to bring that up, but you know, try to take each video individually, so that's why I always try to bring that up. But so they're basically in these stances that they're in, but they look good, and would look good as a display on a shelf. So that's the way I see it anyway. And other than that, just anything else, sizing. Again, these are Gashapon minifigures, so they are pretty small. I think the two Larva Mothra figures are probably about in the, lengthwise, probably about 2 inches long. Larva Battra is a little bit bigger, which is essentially, to scale, because Larva Battra in the film was larger than Larva Mothra, so he's probably more in the 3-inch or so range. I think if you're measuring from where basically about the horn to the tip of the tail would probably be about in the 3-inch range. But again, these are Gashapon minifigures, so that's, why they are smaller. But anyway, though, that mostly covers it. Otherwise, as far as pricing goes, you can get these readily available online, namely so on eBay. They're all fairly affordable, at least any time I've seen them. Usually like when you get the Larva Mothra from the Bandai Pack of Destructions, it depends if you're trying to get the whole set. If you're going to get the whole set of this, it is going to be a little bit pricier, and it's, because it is a dated set that came out, it's a bit more rare now to get the whole set. So that, I would say, you could be looking at $50+ if you're trying to get the whole set. When I initially got the set, I think it was about $15, but I gave several of the figures in that set to my friend, and I only kept a few for myself, and this was one of them. But if you get like her individually, I'd say she'd probably be around $10 or so. Now, these two are usually sold as a set, and I usually see them for around $25 as a set, which is certainly very reasonable. If you get them individually, they'd be a little bit cheaper, probably about $15 or so each, I think. At least from what I've seen online of them anyway. You would, like I said, just kind of have to search around, namely so on eBay is where you'd find these if you are looking to pick them up. Again, their Gashapon figures are small, but they're still cool to have. I think they make for a very nice display. They're captured the look and designs of the kaiju very, very well, I think. So I definitely do recommend them if you're interested. I think that'll about cover it for this video. I would definitely like to thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.